The month of May explodes in Boston Wrestling MWF. Joining us for the first time in studio will be ECW icon New Jack, Saturday, May the 8th, taping episodes of Wrestling Insiders in a special live episode with the Cyber autograph signing. Then Saturday, May the 22nd, Sunday, May the 23rd, the legendary Demolition Axe, the Masked Superstar, one half of the greatest tag team in WWE history, joins us for 2 days of Wrestling Insider tapings in a live Cyber autograph signing with photos already signed by Demolition Smash. It's going to be a month to remember. Head on over to bostonwrestling.com. Pre-order your 8x10 photos now and help keep wrestling legends working. Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
And I'm John Cena Sr.
Johnny, the momentum here in Boston Wrestling continues as we continue to build and build and build. The fans want to know, how do we help? We subscribe to the Patreon, but we see all the great merchandise on that set. Coronavirus may have killed the nightlife, especially for someone like Marty, but our acclaimed eBay store is open 24/7 around the world.
Wow. Check it out.
Arguably the greatest professional wrestler of all time. Get this limited edition collector's autograph print personally signed by two-time WWE Hall of Famer Nature Boy Ric Flair, inscribed 16 times for each of his recognized World Championship reigns. One of only 50 made direct from our friends at WWE. Also signed by original artist Rob Schamberger. Help keep wrestling legends working. Get this awesome Ric Flair collectible for your wrestling collection now.
Cheer. Why, hello. I would ask what was on your mind, but I already know. You want to know what has got my beard looking oh so majestic. And I'll tell you, it's sexy as hell beard care. Coconut oil, vitamin E oil, almond oil, both sweet and bitter, shea butter, it's all natural. Yes, JTG has actually come out with a high quality product, so support your boy by going to sahbeardcare.com and take one step closer to becoming sexy as hell. Cheer. Ooh, cheer. You know?
Boston wrestling sports in the MWF explodes into a new year of unknown with professional wrestling content galore, and we need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after we review the previous night's Monday Night Raw, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with the unpredictable WWE Hall of Famer, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights after WWE, NXT, and AEW at 10 p.m., you never know who's going to show up on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's No Holds Barred Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll journey through the 80s and 90s on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday nights after the lights go down at the Thunderdome on SmackDown, it's John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. If you want early, ad-free access to all of our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and to help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times, for less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, welcome to another installment of Wrestling Insiders Monday Night Mission. I'm Dan Marty, here at MWF Studios, downtown Melrose, Massachusetts. The zip code of champions, 02176. What did you think of tonight's WWE Monday Night Raw? Good? Bad? Share your thoughts in the Premier chat box. A beautiful spring weekend turned into a wild one for us here in Boston Wrestling MWF. Dr. David Reiss is making moves as we prepare for the return of live events in the second half of 2021. Longtime board of directors member Pistol Pete Tringali has retired and was replaced over the weekend by the man that was the first MWF World Heavyweight Champion, Tiger Mulligan. Tiger is a longtime friend, but I tell you this, I was blown away by this news. Tiger is also going to be joining me for a current events podcast every Sunday night. Wrestling Insiders, Stern but Fair. Episode 1 premiered last night. Would love your feedback on this new show. A more laid-back edition of a podcast for me. I enjoyed it a great deal. I enjoyed chewing the fat with Tiger, but was not expecting him back in the MWF, certainly not on the board of directors. Very unexpected news. As I'm sure you've noticed, we've moved Oscar's time slot from before Monday Night Raw to after Raw, obviously, as we're premiering right now, to try and get more fans involved in the show and give you some fresh wrestling talk to listen to after what can sometimes be a very long 3-hour endeavor on the USA Network. We pass the baton to you on this one as well. Do you prefer the show to premiere before Raw or after Raw? We realize it is a little late for some, but you can also listen to it on Tuesday on your way to work or on a break or something like that. As noted, after a very tough month of April, we have a blockbuster month of May lined up. I'm warning you now to get the calendars ready. We have brand new original content at least twice per day. And again, I ask you, other than WWE, where are you going to find that? That statement right there highlights the need for you guys to try and join the team and join the family. This Saturday night, May the 8th, ECW Hardcore Icon, former 3-time tag team champion New Jack will be joining us for a series of Wrestling Insiders tapings, watch-alongs, and live episodes featuring a Cyber autograph signing as well. It is a great chance for you to support the show and get an autographed collectible that New Jack will sign to you live on the air. He'll give you a shout-out as he's doing it. He'll personalize the photo any way you like. Pre-order yours now at bostonwrestling.com. We'll also be back with another pay-per-view watch-along Sunday night, May the 16th, with WWE's WrestleMania Backlash. You know our watch-alongs are always fun and interactive. We're going to have the prize Wheel of Fortune ready, or what do we call it? Ring of Fortune. We're going to have some great memorabilia ready for you to win to try and help, again, support Wrestling Insiders and keep us on the air. Hopefully we'll always have fun. It'll always be interactive during our live episodes. You load up WWE Network on Peacock. We'll have some laughs, and hopefully the show will have some good matches for us to enjoy at the same time. To me, even bigger, we have a doubleheader Saturday, May the 22nd, Sunday, May the 23rd. The legendary Demolition Axe, the Masked Superstar, joins us for not one, but 2 days of historic Wrestling Insiders tapings, watch-alongs, and live Cyber autograph signings, along with individual Axe and Masked Superstar photos. Smash was kind enough to sign some Demolition photos for us in Tampa. You can get a beautiful 8x10 photo signed by both members of the greatest tag team in WWE history for your collection. Again, head on over to bostonwrestling.com to pre-order your Demolition photos now. We've mentioned it before. Wrestle House in Tampa was a lot of fun. It was productive, but it was a complete and utter killer to our various numbers and metrics for the month of April, which is why we really do need your help in a variety of ways. We're hoping you can help the cause. If you want to have 5 nights of original talk shows per week, we need you to join the Boston Wrestling MWF family on Patreon. Not friendship, not a fan club, an inner circle, a professional wrestling family that for just a couple of bucks brings you early ad-free access to Wrestling Insiders. Our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library is seen by millions online, millions more on The Howard Stern Show, Patreon exclusives, and more, all while helping keep wrestling legends working at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Give it a try. We think you'll love it. A brand new Iron Sheik DVD is coming your way this week. Again, patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Coronavirus has killed the nightlife of many businesses and people that like to party, like Marty, Jannetty, and Glantz. That cannot be said for the eBay store. It continues to be open 24/7. My friend Ram, that's actually his name, R-A-M, Ram, if the Melrose post office is getting tired of the visits. And that's a good thing because that means we have orders coming in to keep growing the talk show series during these unprecedented times. We invite you, we implore you to visit the Boston Wrestling eBay store. You can find the link in the description box below. You can also go to bostonwrestling.com and click the store button. It'll take you right there. Every order gets you an on-air shout-out from one of our legends. If you enjoy our talk shows and all of the hard work we put into it, that gray $ button is open during the premiere, the Super Chat button. Don't forget to tip the bartender. You can tip anything from $1 to $1 million. We'll take anything in between. We're not getting rich. We're just trying to stay alive. We're trying to bring you more and more great content, more and more great legends, but we can't do it without your support. And of course, there are many ways you can help that won't cost you a single penny. Just a second of your time. Give the video a big thumbs up if you're enjoying it. That helps a lot. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's absolutely free. We have over 2,000 videos for you to enjoy. If you click the little bell, YouTube sends you notifications of new programs premiering. Let's show YouTube how much you guys love what we do here in Boston Wrestling MWF. If you do, they showcase our videos to more and more new fans that have no idea we exist. And let's be honest, there are millions of fans from the 80s, the 90s, even the present that have any idea we exist. We need to reach those eyeballs so we can continue to do what we do, how we do it, because it's expensive. The growth, as I've noted, from 2020 to 21 has been amazing. April was a bad month. Let's just make sure that's a one-off. Let's keep the ball rolling, baby. Last but not least, share the links to these great talk shows online, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Reddit, in wrestling Facebook groups. Send them to popular wrestling websites. We don't have a giant advertising budget, but we have the best fan base in professional wrestling. I have zero doubt we can get the job done. With that said, folks, here is the man that rocked Madison Square Garden to its core at WrestleMania 10. He is the Vice President of Boston Wrestling MWF. He is the man on a mission, Oscar. There he is, folks, live and in living color, even though you can't see him. But the good news is he's back home. He's out of the hospital. How is the Vice President feeling?
Well, I'm not at home. I am in a rocking chair down in Atlanta, Georgia, outside, taking in the good weather.
What the hell are you doing in Atlanta, Georgia?
Well, we moving down here, so we came down here for a week to look at some places.
Who's moving down there?
Me and Dreamy Mimi and my mother-in-law, we're all moving, relocating to the good weather.
You're leaving the cold of Indiana in the winter?
Leaving the cold of Indiana, saying bye-bye.
Really? Now, I had no idea this was happening. When did you come up with this plan?
Well, we've been planning it for years, but we actually decided to go ahead and pull the trigger and make it happen.
Wow. Well, you're going to have a lot of... probably be closer to a lot of your friends and alumni down there in the Atlanta area?
Well, I don't know who's here.
Who's down there in Atlanta?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'd need an episode just to go through the whole list. But I think that's great. I think you'll have more access to wrestling events and you'll be closer to a bigger airport. Although Chicago's a pretty big airport, but
no, Chicago's a real big airport. Yeah.
But I mean, no, I think that's great. When are you planning on making the move?
Well, like I said, we're out here looking at places now. We find a place, lock it down, then after that, we're gonna get into the process of moving. So we looking at like the summer, this summer.
Well, maybe if David Reiss decides to franchise the Gentlemen's Club, maybe Atlanta, which is known for them, could have a Reese's Pieces of their own.
Yeah, well, I'll be looking at locations for them. I'll put that behind Reiss.
Well, you really are a talent scout. You'll always take one for the team when it comes to that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Just don't tell nobody.
I have to ask, after the surprise, it's been surprising news after surprising news, but last time we spoke, you were in the hospital. How are you feeling?
I'm doing much, much better, but you know what? I need more testing because I'm doing better, but I don't think they resolved all the issues. So I still gotta get into some more, some more health testing, and we got a ways to go before I'm back to normal.
Well, you know what? We can only continue to hope that you are on the mend. I had a chance to speak with President Reiss this week. He continued to be concerned, but he had no doubt that in any capacity, you are the man on a mission to get things done when it comes to Boston wrestling in the MWF. But we had a lot of fans reach out to us. They were concerned, but the good news is at least you're improving instead of getting worse.
No. I mean, no, I'm definitely getting better. Getting a defibrillator was what I really, really needed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not having any more serious episodes, because I was having some really serious episodes for a while and didn't even know how serious they were. I mean, I was close to death
Wow.
at some point and didn't even know it, even though what I was feeling was real serious, because I was in what was called VTAC, where you feel like you're about to faint, then you can't catch your breath, then your chest get tight.
Well, I know you had some episodes even here at the studio before where you'd almost kind of freeze up. Is that what you're talking about?
No. That was something. That was something completely different. But I'm by God's grace, I'm about to be done with all that. And even at my age, I'm about to be a vibrant guy going into my 60s and all that other kind of stuff like that. Really, really spry with with a bunch of weight loss and a whole bunch of medical care that's going to get me on the mend 100%.
Your cardio is going to be greatly improved for Reese's Pieces.
Oh, yeah. Because I couldn't handle a Reese's Piece right now.
But could you handle Reese's Pieces, plural?
No, I can't even handle a piece.
You can't even. You couldn't even handle one of them right now.
I can't even handle the piece I'm married to. So yeah, no.
I tell you this, for the fans that are watching us on the Monday Night Mission, they can see that picture of President Reiss meeting with Joe Biden. I continue to be blown away by this man. Photographic evidence is on the screen as we speak. Did you know that Reiss met with Biden not too long ago?
I do know that Reiss met with Biden. I spoke to Reiss the night he was going to meet with Biden.
Really?
Yes.
Yet another thing I know next to nothing about. The president and the vice president certainly like to keep me in the dark. They just like to keep me busy at the TV studio producing all of the great content. I tell you, over the weekend, Oscar, my heart almost went into shock like yours. Longtime member of the Boston Wrestling MWF Board of Directors, Pistol Pete Tringali, is out. I don't know what happened with him and Dr. Reiss, but Tringali retires, and in is the first MWF heavyweight champion, Tiger Mulligan, the man that won the first Soul Survivor competition. He was presented the championship gold by WWE Hall of Famer Bobby the Brain Heenan. He had an undefeated streak that Goldberg wouldn't even sneeze at. Now, he's about my age. His knees were destroyed, which certainly curtailed a very promising career. But now we have a great young mind on the board of directors to go along with some of the senior leadership we have, so to speak. What do you think about the big shakeup on the board of directors?
That's exactly what we need. Our minds are set into the old way of doing things because that's the way we see things to be done. So you need to get a young guy that could understand these young people. We can't understand them. We don't get them. So you need somebody like Tiger with that young business acumen that could, at the very least, explain to us this new jack way of wrestling and this new jack way of doing wrestling business so that we can move forward into the 22nd century, where we all comfortable. So, yep, Tiger's right where he needs to be.
Well, I think as we look forward to having live events in the second half of 2021, knock on wood, it's a great thing. I mean, I have all the respect in the world for him. I was not expecting this. And now, as we also noted, he's going to be joining us for a current events type podcast on Sunday night, again, from a different point of view, from someone that competed in the squared circle on a more regional independent level. But like I said, great mind for professional wrestling, great asset to what we're doing here in Boston Wrestling. Maybe he can help lighten the load with everything that goes on with you and President Reiss.
Well, it speaks to your intelligence that you would sign off on such a move, even though you made it without consulting nobody. But that's okay. We trust you at the helm.
Hey, you and Reiss are the one making the decisions, not me.
But it's a really good move.
It's a good move. All right. Well, maybe he'll have to come and visit you down in Hotlanta and check out the new digs.
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely. We definitely gonna have enough room to house a couple of you boys. So yeah, y'all need to come down and maybe come down for the housewarming.
Well, we've had live events in North Carolina over the years, some very successful ones. Maybe Hotlanta could be a new place for Boston Wrestling and the MWF to venture to.
We certainly could look into it.
Well, now you got me thinking, baby. But we'll talk about that a little later on. Also, very interesting time here in Boston Wrestling. It was Make-A-Wish Day. John Cena Sr., it means a lot to him. Obviously, his son has granted more wishes to Make-A-Wish kids than any celebrity of any kind in the world, which is a tremendous statement to make. The kids have been waiting, in some cases, over a year now due to coronavirus. Over the next few weeks, we're going to be offering some great items to fans to try and help with our Make-A-Wish endeavors. Oscar, you were around the Make-A-Wish Foundation. You were with WWF. What does Make-A-Wish mean to you?
Make-A-Wish means a lot because, for some of these kids, their future, seems to be hopeless, but they have a wish. They have something that they want to do on their bucket list. And there's a lot of celebrities out there that they want to meet, a lot of stars and people that can make their wishes happen, whatever their wish is. So when Make-A-Wish intervenes and makes their dreams come true, there's no price tag to put on that. I think it's an amazing thing. And my hat's off to John Cena Sr. and Jr. for participating in the amazing way they have.
Well, like I said, we're going to be doing some great stuff here over the next few weeks. I think Make-A-Wish Day isn't big enough for Make-A-Wish. I think Make-A-Wish could have its own month. They do so much great work for those poor kids that are put in such a bad spot. And again, where they've had to wait for over a year, whether it be a meet and greet with the celebrity, whether it be a trip to Disney World or some kind of a place like that. Hopefully, as more people get vaccinated and life comes back to normal, these kids can have these wishes granted. And if we can help do that, you know what? I think that's a great way to use our platforms here in Boston Wrestling.
Well, speaking of vaccination, how are you coming along with your vaccination situation?
I'm on the list, baby.
You on the list?
I'm on the list.
I got my second shot the other day.
Well, you know what? Granted, you just came out of the hospital and almost died. I think maybe you needed it more than me.
Yeah, no, that might be true too, but yeah, I got my second shot, so but they still making me wear masks everywhere, so I don't know what the point is right now.
Well, things seem to be changing with those masks by the week, but let me ask you this. Is it going to be a prerequisite for Reese's Pieces, the talent that works at the clubs, to be vaccinated?
Well, they got to get vaccinated, and they still need to wear masks. They nasty.
So they really, in the gentleman's club, they're going to have to wear masks.
Yeah, they still got to wear masks.
But nothing else.
If nothing else, they get it.
Reese's Pieces. I wonder if he talked to Joe Biden about it. I don't know.
I don't know. Probably him and Joe snuck off to go see a few pieces.
Well, hopefully Joe didn't tell Jill. I don't know. That's a different story for a different time. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling, my friend. Nick Khan, the new president of WWE, a guy I really didn't know, I should say, too much about him. I've been impressed with him speaking at the WWE investors meetings and different interviews he's done, but I think he really missed the boat on this one, Oscar. He teased the returns to WWE of Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch in a recent interview. And then within the next couple of days, Ronda came out that she's 4 months pregnant. Do you think that's a little false advertising?
Yeah, no, I mean, even if she's that far along, you're looking at a good year and a half to 2 years before that could even happen now.
It takes a lady's body, a bit of time to, come back to the way it was pre-pregnancy.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, it's having the baby and then her taking a year at least to get the baby rolling on its own.
So I wouldn't anticipate the return of Ronda Rousey anytime soon.
No.
Becky Lynch
No.
did give birth. She has a little one, but again, I believe that was only a couple of months ago. So like you said, Becky Lynch is enjoying life as being a mother. I can't see her returning to active competition in WWE anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Khan, I don't know Nick Khan or nothing about him. But I mean, like anybody else who's a real human being, he could have all the wishful thinking he want, but those announcements were very premature.
Very premature. Very premature. Well, I was almost going to insert a joke there, but I'm going to behave myself this week here on the 11 p.m. premiere of the Monday Night Mission. I'm interested to see if the fans like us right after Raw as opposed to before Raw.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot of pressure to try to get us in and then go watch Raw. I think they'll be more relaxed and then be able to appreciate us more after Raw. And that way they have a alternative to Monday Night Talk or
Raw
whatever
Talk,
it
I
is,
think it's
Raw
called.
Talk.
Yeah, I don't think anyone watches that.
And then they can listen to us and not be rushed, and listen to us again in case they missed something. I think they'll appreciate the show more afterwards. So we'll see how that goes.
All right. Well, again, it's all about your feedback, folks. We're very interested to see whether you like us better at 7 or at 11. I have a feeling 11 o'clock is going to be a great time slot. Even if they miss us right after Raw, if they got to go to bed, they can listen to us in the morning on the way to work, while they're having breakfast, anytime they want to in the library. So again, let us know what you think, folks, as far as what time is best for the Monday Night Mission. I think 11 o'clock is going to be our destination. That remains to be seen, because it's not about me. It's not about even the VP, Mr. Oscar himself down in Hotlanta. It's all about the great fans. That's right, baby. All right. Also, related to Nick Khan, I guess, a man he represented before he came to WWE as an agent, Adnan Virk, is the new voice of WWE Monday Night Raw, Oscar. I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to Adnan since he debuted the night after WrestleMania, but he is a man that is not a wrestling fan. He's all but admitted he's never watched professional wrestling, yet he is the voice of the marquee show of WWE. I'm lost on this one.
Well, I welcome Dreamy Mimi to my podcast because she was not a wrestling insider.
Mm-hmm.
She was a fan representing the WWE universe.
Mm-hmm.
And so that gave an unbiased, untainted, fresh, honest perspective to the show, which was really, really, really refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that to say that now you're going to get a guy that's actually going to watch it without a taint of wrestling history in his bones, that's going to watch the product and look at it and say what he really, really, really thinks. I mean, if the apples are rotten in the barrel, get one from the tree. That's that perspective. So I don't think you're gonna get a guy that doesn't know what he's talking about. You're gonna get a guy who's really, really commenting on what he sees. of course, he's gonna have a little help and guidance along the way because he's gonna have that thing in his ear that's telling him whether he's going too far or not. Keep him in line. But I think it's a great idea. Yeah, I think
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
I expect great things from him.
I think he's horrible. And I think the fact that he's come out and admitted that he's never watched pro wrestling because of his travels with Major League Baseball and the fact that he has 4 kids, and, good for him that he has had a great job with Major League Baseball and that he has these kids. But I just, that would be like me trying to do commentary on NASCAR or golf or something like that. In NASCAR, I know they go around in a circle and fast. In golf, I know they try and hit the ball in the hole. Other than that, I know nothing about either one of them, and I couldn't imagine someone hiring me for their marquee television show to try and be almost the salesman of it for not even the 2-hour version of SmackDown,
Well,
but the 3-hour version of Raw.
Let me give you a page out of my own book.
All right.
I had no wrestling experience when I came to wrestling. None whatsoever. I was horrible. But as time went on, I started to learn. I had great mentors and great teachers, and I had to learn the business from the ground up. And now, years later, I know somewhat of what I'm talking about when I'm talking about it. So
But you were at
sometimes-
least a fan of professional wrestling, correct?
Yeah, I was a
Well,
fan.
this man
but-
wasn't.
No,
Isn't.
but you got to understand something. Being a fan of professional wrestling and being an actual wrestling insider are worlds apart. In that case, I'm in the same boat as this Adnan guy because I knew nothing of the business, nothing of what I was talking about. If I opened my mouth, and I was a fresh apple off the tree, but I learned.
Well, I just think someone should have product knowledge if they're going to be put out there as the voice of Monday Night Raw. My opinion, I find your opinion very interesting, to be honest, even if we disagree a little bit on it. And we can do that respectfully here on the Monday Night Mission. I'd like to see Adnan Virk go. I think he's terrible. I think it's an insult to the talent in the ring. I think it hurts the show to have someone that has no knowledge of what it is he's calling for 3 hours trying to get things over, whether it be wrestlers, storylines, pay-per-views, merchandise. I don't see it lasting long. My opinion.
All right, let's make it interesting between you and I. Okay,
All right.
Let's make it interesting. How long do you give Adnan? How long do you give him before he's fired or replaced?
No way he makes it to WrestleMania.
You know.
No way.
All right, all right. I'm in for a $20 pool.
$20?
Pool,
All right.
$20. Adnan makes it to WrestleMania.
You think he will last?
Yeah. He's gonna last to WrestleMania.
Well, you know what? He does have the support of the president of the company, Nick Khan. Maybe I'm going to be tossing you that 20 after at WrestleMania weekend next year. We'll have to wait and see.
WrestleMania weekend, Adnan's gonna make it because they're gonna teach him.
What have you had a chance to hear Pat McAfee over on SmackDown? He worked with NXT in the past. He actually wrestled at the NXT War Games last year. Now they think to try and freshen up the booth with the ever-boring Michael Cole. They've given him Pat McAfee as the color commentator. I think he's trying almost a little too hard, one man's opinion, but at least McAfee, while he might not be my cup of tea, has a background in wrestling. He's done wrestling commentary before. He's a fan of the product.
You just mentioned a name. You just mentioned a name that should have been gone years ago, but has been there for many, many years, and is horrible. Michael Cole.
Oh.
Michael Cole is the biggest overactor I've ever seen on TV.
I agree. I think Michael Cole is good at voiceovers. I think Michael Cole is good at doing interviews. But he's not good at calling wrestling matches. He's not good at getting wrestlers over. He's not good at getting wrestling moves over. He's not good at getting wrestling storylines over. He does not belong in that booth. I think, to be honest, I think the commentary booth is it's something that's not talked about enough as far as why the fans have turned away from the product. If you sit through a 2-hour or a 3-hour wrestling show, what is the one constant that you have going throughout the program? It's those commentators at that booth. They are the quote-unquote friends you're watching that wrestling show with. And if you have someone that's the shits doing the commentary, you're not going to be as apt to sit through it as if you have someone like, in the golden years, Vince McMahon, Gorilla Monsoon, Jim Ross, and some of the other greats that have called the action. Michael Cole is proven that it is not for him over the past 24 years now. And Adnan Virk makes Michael Cole look like Jim Ross during the Attitude Era as far as passion and knowledge goes. He's just unbelievably bad.
You know, it begs a question I want to ask you.
Sure.
Who do you think is the best color commentator, the best announcer ever to do it? Who do you think it is?
Now, are you asking two different questions, or are you asking me one?
I'm asking you one. Who's the best guy behind that booth to call the action in wrestling?
As far as a color commentator goes, I'd say Bobby the Brain Heenan. As far as play-by-play, I would say Jim Ross.
Okay, well, what about Gordon Soley, though?
You know, I only heard and saw Gordon Soley towards the end of his career, and I thought he was very good. I thought he was the best of what they had to offer in the NWA/WCW, but I don't think he was as good as Jim Ross in his prime. Maybe. Now, what about you? What do you think in your opinion?
I think Gordon Soley is the best of all times.
What do you think about color commentators?
I don't know. Was Vince considered a color commentator?
No, he was play-by-play. The color commentators would be the Bobby Heenans, Jesse Ventura's, Jerry Lawler's, Pat McAfee's, John Layfield.
I hate to say Jerry Lawler, but I'm gonna say Jerry Lawler, and the reason why is because out of all of them, Jerry Lawler would make me crack up laughing throughout the whole show, no matter what show he did. When I was there, when Jerry Lawler was the color commentator, I used to enjoy listening to him from show open to show end.
I thought Jerry Lawler was excellent from when he debuted back in late 1992 through when he quit in 2001. I don't know if fans remember that. He was gone from February through November of 2001 after WWF fired his ex-wife, the Cat, Stacey Carter. When he came back, I don't know if it was because of the break, but I think he was a little too silly with the puppies and the women comments, and I kind of lost interest at that point. But I thought for the first 9 years he was there, I thought he was exceptional. I don't think he was as good as Bobby Heenan, though.
Especially when he was having his feud with Bret Hart. That was just priceless.
Oh, the first go-around they had in 93, it's too bad that the feud got cut short. I mean, you were right there in the middle of it. It was supposed to be at the Survivor Series at the Boston Garden that you wrapped Men on a Mission to the ring to his doinks. It was supposed to be Jerry Lawler in his nights against Bret Hart's family, but it turned into Shawn Michaels in the nights against Bret Hart and his family, and that there really was no feud at that point between Bret and Shawn. Jerry had a problem with charges of being a little promiscuous with teenage girls in Tennessee. That was later taken care of, and Jerry returned at WrestleMania 10, the night you blew the roof off of Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, no. There's just, I don't know, throughout the years in that realm, we've seen a lot of talent come and go. But I think if Adnan studies the talent before him and he just really gets into it, takes it seriously, and just really studies the playbook of professional wrestling, that with a clean perspective, he could grow into being pretty decent. So I give the kid a chance.
Well, you have more hope than I do. I think, you know where I think they did him a disservice, Oscar, as I was told that usually when they bring on a new commentator, even if it is someone with wrestling background, they have them literally do commentary over hundreds and hundreds of WWE matches from their library to try and learn the WWE commentary style, so to speak. Adnan was not even given that opportunity. They did the first wrestling match that Adnan ever called was the first match the night after WrestleMania Sunday on Raw. And I think, you know what? Whether I like him or dislike him, I don't think that's fair to Adnan Virk. I think he should have had the opportunity to at least practice his craft.
Well, we don't know that he didn't.
I was told that he did not by someone that works at the network. And that's really unfair to the guy if it is factual.
But see, you know what? Here's the part. Here's the part we not looking at. Okay, so you get a fresh off the tree commentator. You get a brand new president. I mean, I believe that WWE is making all kinds of strange moves in order. It's about money.
Mm.
I mean, because everything they doing now, you do not have to pay out those contracts and those big salaries and those guarantees the way you have had the history of doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything you doing, everybody you got and all that, you could basically pay them, you know, short coin, you know, to do a big job. And if they not doing it, you got an endless supply of pool to where you can pull talent from to replace people and do the same job. I think everybody's making a living, but nobody except the ones who are real veterans, your Randy Ortons, you know, your John Cena's, your, you know, or what have you. Those are the only ones that are making money to where they are really, really prospering. Everybody else is making a living. And I believe that is the sole purpose behind all these shakeups, these new faces, and everything else that you're seeing that you don't understand.
All right. Well, again, a veteran's perspective from a man that lived the life in the World Wrestling Federation from 1993 to 1995. I'm getting the cue from the back right now. We're going to take a brief time out. We'll be back with more with Oscar and the Monday Night Mission after this brief timeout.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
And I'm Mr. USA WWE Hall of Famer Tony Atlas.
The road to WrestleMania has begun. Wrestling fans are looking to add to their man caves. You got to see what we have in the eBay store.
Check it out.
At Night of Champions 2020, Tribal Chief Roman Reigns successfully defended the WWE Universal Championship against his cousin, Jey Uso, in a must-see battle. Here is your chance to own a piece of Roman Reigns moments before battle on this beautiful limited edition autographed 11x14 poster direct from friends at WWE. It's number 19 of only 50 made. Includes WWE authentication hologram on the poster itself, suitable for framing and matting. You'll also receive a bonus Legends autographed 8x10 photo in an on-air shout-out on Wrestling Insiders as our thanks for helping keep Wrestling Legends working. Get this ultra-rare Roman Reigns autograph poster now. All right, wrestling fans, welcome back to Wrestling Insiders Monday Night Mission. We are very interested to know what you think as far as our time change goes. Did you prefer Oscar at 7? Or do you like having a little something fresh to listen to after what can sometimes be a very long 3-hour Monday Night Raw on the USA Network? Your input is greatly appreciated. If you're watching the premiere at 11 o'clock, share your thoughts in the little premiere chat box on the right side of the screen. Don't forget the Super Chat button is open. Don't forget to tip the bartender if you're watching after the fact. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. We'd love to know what you guys think of the show. Oscar, in addition to you, we also had another member of the Boston wrestling family in the hospital. The man that his no-holds-barred sex, drugs, and rock and roll tales of the 80s and 90s on Thursday night, Marty Jannetty, was hospitalized at the same time you were.
What happened with Marty?
Well, he had reconstructive ankle surgery done, and he had to have a little more work done on it. So Marty was back in the hospital. You were in the hospital. I was getting worried. I didn't know what to do.
Oh man, he's all right.
He's on the mend right now. He does need to have surgery on his other ankle once the first one is healed, but he's hoping, again, knock on wood, by the towards the tail end of the year, he's going to be a new man. I mean, it is a real shame that he had to go through the physical abuse he did. Marty's problems with drugs and alcohol are well known. It's a shame that he's been in so much pain and that he had no help. WWE will help folks when it comes to drug rehab. It's offered to everybody that ever had a contract talent. A talent contract with them. But when it comes to physical ailments like that, there is no help for Marty and so many of the Brotherhood.
Back up for a second,
All right.
because let's talk about that for a second, because I think a lot of people, including myself, because I never had a drug problem, people don't understand how that actually works. Now, when you have a drug problem, do they put you up for 2 weeks at some posh rehab facility, or how does that work?
It's much longer than 2 weeks, and it is very, very posh. I know a lot of the times it can go into the six figures.
Really?
Yes, it is not cheap for WWE to do that. But you want to know, here's my thing. Let me toss this one at you, Oscar, and see what you think. Marty's core problem were these ankles. And it would probably, when it's all said and done, you're probably looking at 10, 15 grand to have everything taken care of for it. At that point, Marty can rehab his body, and then in theory, he can, if because of the pain issues that have led to the use of so many drugs and alcohol over the years, shy away from it. Is it cheap? Would it be cheaper for WWE at times to take care of physical ailments to get these people off of drugs and alcohol than sending them to a six-figure drug and alcohol rehab center? To me, I point to Sherry Martel is a great example. She needed a new rod in her back because of all the big bumps she took. She tried to be the female Bobby Heenan out there, trying to take bumps like one of the guys, and it killed the inside of her back. She had no insurance. She couldn't get that rod put in her back. She developed, the problems that she had, and she passed away at a very young age. If WWE was willing to help with that, again, which would have been much cheaper than a six-figure drug rehab stay, Sherry Martel could very well be alive right now and be with us.
Well, I'll go even further. Not only would they save money by helping people with physical ailments, I mean, if they would furnish money on the psychological side of it,
sure,
and what that would do is that would all but, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna say completely, but that would eradicate a lot of the drug use that leads into going into these drug rehab centers. Because if you address the psychological aspects of being in this business, if you address if you address the physicality of things going wrong, then there would be no use for abusing painkillers and abusing higher substances, and all that stems from all that stems from pain. That stems from pain, both physical and psychological. So if you attack it from those aspects of it, then you alleviate millions of dollars of that other kind of care. Of that rehabilitation.
And think of what, in all honesty, what would it cost them to send people to go to see a psychiatrist compared to the six-figure drug rehab?
No, me and Reiss offered to do it for free, and Reiss was all for it. That's what our program was all about.
And yes, you and Dr. Reiss had a hell of an idea. It's still a great idea. Who knows? Someday it could still come to fruition if you interact with the right people at the right time. I don't want to go into too many details about it, but I think it's a phenomenal idea. I have a great passion when it comes to the Brotherhood of Professional Wrestling. having a tough time in their post-WWE, WWF days, whatever you want to refer to the company as. And at the end of the day, does WWE owe people jobs for life because they perform for them? No, absolutely not. But at the same time, it is an industry where there are limited benefits to the talent when they are at their peak. It is a industry that, for whatever reason, the active talent chose not to unionize, which really hurt them when it comes to, a retirement package. Look at Major League Baseball. If you play Major League Baseball for 10 years, you get a pension of $250,000 per year. You look at a Hall of Famer like WWE Hall of Famer like Mr. USA Tony Atlas, his royalty check last year from WWE was for $206. There's a big difference between $250,000 and $206.
The NFL has even put in place a program of what it is that we're talking about. The NFL.
Yep.
Now the NFL. Now when you are the NFL and you show up anybody, you really really need to examine your life. You understand what I'm saying?
I hear you. No,
But I do believe I'm an optimistic thinker. I do believe one day that they will wake up and see the error of their ways when it come down to that, and take care of the boys better.
Do you think it'll take Vince passing and having Triple H in charge?
Well, I don't know when it's going to happen. I couldn't tell you. I mean, I'm not. I can't speculate on the mindset, or I can't predict the future. I'll put it like that.
I gotcha.
Make a safe comment, but I believe it'll happen. It'll happen because it has to happen. I mean, you have got to wake up one day, even though it's been who knows how long, even though it's been so long, you've seen how many times it's happened. You're looking at the trend. You haven't done anything, but you see it doesn't stop.
Right.
So if it doesn't stop, you're looking at the trend, and the world is watching. Not just the WWE universe. The world is watching. A guy who has a big hit show on HBO, John Oliver, had a show just about this.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, if John Oliver had a show, it's not just the WWE universe looking at you.
Sure.
Now, outside the box, the world is looking at you and taking notice. And that has to happen for change to come. And change will come because it has to.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably do multiple episodes on this, and I don't want to bash WWE. They're great friends of the show. They've been great friends to me over the years. They employed you for several years when you had your big run with them back in the 90s. But as far as the post-life goes, I can't think of a worse industry than professional wrestling. If you look at every major league sport, like you were just talking about different forms of entertainment, television stars, movie stars that are in the Screen Actors Guild and different entertainment unions, they have a quality of life when it's all said and done. And in professional wrestling, there's basically nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that if they don't step up right now, I'm hoping, like AEW recognizes this plight and then they do something, and Impact, whoever it is, and then everybody sees what it is, sees how it's needed, why it's needed, what's done in order to rectify it, and everybody follows suit. I mean, I believe that could happen, but it needs to happen. That's just the bottom line of we can move on. I'm just saying it needs to happen.
Well, the good thing about AEW is you have a lot of wrestlers that are actually involved in the company itself. So, maybe they'll look at the error of not just WWE, but the entire industry as a whole, how it's treated its talent over the years, and maybe they'll be the first to step up and create some kind of a package for the guys. Tony Khan seems to think different than a lot of wrestling promoters and owners out there, and I think that's a great thing. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. I can only hope for the best because I care about our brotherhood. Every time I see someone pass away because of a situation that was preventable, it pulls on the strings of my heart. That's why I've always been a very proud member of the Cauliflower Alley Club. And again, we can only hope for better days for the future. Shying away from that subject, though, Oscar, we also want to send out best wishes to a couple of more guys, former enemies, actually, that both have had some medical issues of their own. Our friend, the WWE Hall of Famer Gerald Briscoe, who was just with us at Wrestle House down in Tampa, he had a knee replacement surgery going. So like Marty, I don't think he's going to be in too many potato sack races anytime soon.
But Gerald Briscoe was always and is still a very good friend. He always looked out for me when he was an agent, when I was active with the company. So I really wish him well. But one thing I do want to say, going back to Cauliflower Alley,
Oh, okay.
I give them all the praise in the world. When I was down and out a couple of years ago, was really struggling, they sent me $1,000.
Did they really?
Yes, they did.
Wow.
They submitted the application. I spoke to the Killer Bee, Brian Blair, personally a couple of times, and he made that happen. And so I'm really grateful to the Cauliflower Alley Club, and I'll never forget them for it. That's an organization that really helps.
Well, wrestling fans, if you watch any of our talk shows on YouTube, we have the rotating graphic. And one of those graphics on there, it invites you to visit caulifloweralleyclub.org and become a member of that great nonprofit organization that exists only to try and help wrestlers out in their times of need. Sometimes, unfortunately, it's to pay for funerals and wakes, but, everything the Cauliflower Alley Club does to me is a great thing. I look forward to our reunion in September. Again, knock on wood. Hopefully we're able to have the reunion this year. I've missed it. The only thing I like about it, Oscar, I noted, is that I love the idea of it being in September as opposed to April. It's further removed from WrestleMania. I think more of the boys will want to go. Plus, it is, right around my birthday. So what a better way to celebrate my birthday than out in Sin City, right?
That's going to be a blast.
And maybe Reese's Pieces will be open at that point.
That would be great. And we could all get together around your birthday. In Vegas, that would be the time of our lives.
Yes, absolutely. We'd have a lot of fun. I don't know, maybe Dr. Reiss should meet with WWE Hall of Famer The Godfather about helping run Reese's Pieces. I know he left the Cheetah Club that he used to run. Maybe he could help Reiss with this new endeavor where he's an expert in the field.
He should rent some Reese's Pieces from The Godfather.
Well, maybe, exactly. Maybe The Godfather can help Reiss get some pieces. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know. But along with Jerry Briscoe, he's recovering from knee surgery. He seems to be doing pretty good. Also on the mend, in a situation that I think is more serious, Terry Funk is coming back and kicking out of COVID, which is a great thing.
Well, that is fantastic. That goes to the strength of that particular individual. So, I'm glad because COVID has just taken so much out of all of us. I mean, taking lives and putting everybody down for the count and not shutting down the country. And I don't even mean figuratively, I mean literally. So I'm glad to see he's coming out of it.
And hopefully he'll be on the mend. Hopefully he'll be joining us out at the Cauliflower Alley Club. Terry is a longtime member, a multiple-time award winner, and an overall good guy. I really like Terry. I know he's put out videos that has said that he's in, outside of COVID, he's in a lot of pain. But I tell you, I'd love to be able to sit down and interview the man. I think it would be phenomenal.
One thing about Cauliflower Alley, I would just be shocked to see the people that actually show up. I mean, people think it's just for old timers, but it's not. The last time I was there, the last time they had it, Edge showed up. So, I mean, you just never know.
You never know that's part of the fun of the Cauliflower. You never know who's going to show up on the quote-unquote red carpet.
Yeah, no, exactly. So, hopefully it'll happen. We'll all be able to go. I actually asked Reiss, was he going to go? He said he hadn't made up his mind yet,
Yeah,
which
that's what
probably
he
is
told
good.
me the other night. He was unsure
Yeah.
if he was going to go, but it's kind of an easy commute for him from San Diego. It's not that far at all. So hopefully,
Well, he's talking about coming back out your way. So, so we'll see what
we'll have
happens.
to wait and see what happens.
I hope he's good.
I got to ask you this, Oscar. I don't know if you've had a chance to see any of them yet, but the WWE A&E biographies are setting A&E on fire. The Steve Austin biography that ran a couple of Sundays ago was the highest rated show of any kind on A&E in the past 16 years. So I ask you, Oscar, I pass the baton with that knowledge. Why do the fans love the legends so much compared to the current talent in 2021?
I actually saw I saw the Steve Austin one, and there was a lot about it. A lot about him I didn't know.
Was it a
I
good? I
saw
haven't seen it yet. Was it any good?
it was very, very, very informative and very good.
I look forward to it.
I saw the Roddy Piper one. That one was great.
And as we tape this, I believe tonight it's Macho Man Randy Savage, but the fans will have been able to have seen that by the time this airs after Raw. But you know what? What is it again about these legends? Why do the fans? Why are they so excited? Or is it? Let me ask you this: maybe is it not current fans that are watching these A&E biographies? Is it the lapsed fans that gave up on sports entertainment,
That's
but they
an easy
still love
answer.
the Steve Austins and the
It's an
Roddy
easy
Pipers?
answer because no matter who you have on the roster at any given time, between now and the past 20 years, they're still the greatest.
They're still what?
The greatest.
But why do the fans? The question is, why do the fans love these legends so much compared to what's on TV every week now?
Because I told you, they're still the greatest of all time.
And you don't think there's any talent today that can compare?
No.
Do you think 20 years from now we'll see a Drew McIntyre biography
Well,
on
I
A&E?
can't speak to what's going to happen 20 years from now, but today, these guys are still the GOATs, the greatest of all time.
Also, we have to look forward to in the very near future, Oscar, a show I enjoy an awful lot. I don't know about you. A Dark Side of the Ring Season 3 is premiering, I believe, this coming week with an episode on Brian Pillman. We know that Brian Pillman Jr. has competed here in Boston Wrestling, the MWF. I like Brian an awful lot. We have a studio shoot interview available with him in the archives. A very interesting look at a young Brian Pillman Jr. I don't think I ever met the dad, though, and I met just about everybody from that era. Certainly one of the unique characters in pro wrestling at the time. Were you a Dark Side of the Ring fan from the first two seasons?
I think I saw the episode with Owen Hart.
Yes.
Which was very near and dear to me because Owen was one of my favorite people. Other than that, that's the and I'm sorry.
Are you still there, Oscar?
Yeah. So
what? Oscar? Did we lose him, fans? No, wait. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Where are you? What are you in some bathroom?
No, elevator.
You're in. You're here, there, and everywhere, Oscar. I don't know how you get around the way you do. You must have more frequent flyer miles than George Clooney in that Airplane movie a couple of years ago.
Okay.
All right, well, now I can hear you better. I don't even remember what the hell it was that we were talking about at this point.
No, we were
talking about Dark Side of the Ring with Owen Hart. Yeah, that one really must have pulled on the strings of your heart to have to watch that.
Yeah. Okay, now, before we continue,
all right,
I got Mimi right here. You got to do your Otis impression.
All right, put her on.
Okay, here's Dan.
Hey.
Yeah, dreamy me, oh yeah. Yeah, dreamy me, oh Taka. Everybody loves the Otis. I don't know.
First meeting him, I would run from him every time I see him.
Oh, me, taka. Ooh, yeah. Oh, please. Who do I have on the phone now? Is it you, Oscar, or is it
Yeah,
Mimi? Oh, you're
no,
back? Okay.
I'm right here. We was right. We was together, but she had to hear that.
She had to hear a little Otis. Well, back to a
Yeah.
little Owen. I mean, again, that must have been a tough episode for you to sit through.
Yeah,
He was a friend.
It was real tough because, the day that I heard that he died, especially the way that he died, it just turned my stomach, and 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 I could think of close relatives that I haven't cried about when they passed, but I cried about Owen because I'll give you one example. There's a picture I have. Owen and I went up to the Colosseum in Rome, and we went up to the spot where Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris filmed that iconic scene in Way of the Dragon. I mean, we actually went there and took a picture. And I mean, we just did stuff like that.
Well, you have some the memories that you'll never lose. But, do you remember where you were, how you heard the news on what was such just a tragedy, such a waste of life in a stunt that no wrestling fan really cared about? It wasn't drawing ratings. It wasn't making any money. It wasn't selling any merchandise. And this family with Martha Hart and their 2 kids lost their husband and their dad.
Yeah. No, I remember. No, I was at home sitting on my bed and watching television. And it was the first story on the news. And ironically, the first person they interviewed was Mabel Nelson.
Oh, really?
Into the building, yeah. And they asked him about it, and I remember his words. He said, "This is a wake up call for everybody." That's exactly what he said, and then he kept on walking.
What do you think he meant by that, as far as a wake up call?
I never got to ask him. I didn't ask him about it, and I really don't know.
You don't know?
Nope.
Well, just everything that's wrong with wrestling happened that night. A guy that really didn't want to be in that position to begin with, and for what happened to happen. A fun-loving guy. Any. I know you shared a memory overseas with Owen. Any other? I know his ribs were well known and his practical jokes. He was a fun-loving guy. Any ribs or any lighthearted stories you remember of Owen?
Yeah, I woke up one day. I fell asleep on a bus. I woke up and I was saturated with shaving cream. Ain't nobody did that. Ain't nobody did that but Owen.
How covered were you in shaving cream?
I mean, you know how you fall into like 4 feet of snow, and then you get up and you all cover from head to tail with snow, with more snow than you can do with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how much.
He used pretty much the whole can.
Yeah,
He unloaded on you.
I had to been dead sleep, and when I woke up, I couldn't see.
Yeah, that must have been quite the surprise when you couldn't even see. You had so much shaving cream on you.
And when I realized that I was drenched from top to bottom, all shaving cream.
Well, I ask you the tough question, Oscar, and I believe at the end of the day it should be at their discretion. But what do you think about the Owen Hart in the WWE Hall of Fame?
Oh no, he definitely belongs there.
Do you think it should be at the discretion of Dr. Martha Hart?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. She should. Well, not just Martha. I mean, Martha, and I think Brett should have some say in it. I mean, it should be to their comfortability because when everything happened, I mean, to say Brett was livid is an understatement.
Mm-hmm.
If there's some things that I think that Brett has not forgiven nor forgotten, it has got to be the circumstances surrounded by the death of Owen.
And you know what's sad? If that whole Montreal screw job situation never happened, and Brett was still with the company, that nonsense with Owen wouldn't have been happening. He wouldn't have been the blue blazer flying down like he was a bird from the top of the arenas, It's strange how sometimes these events correlate.
Well, I think that I think that Owen should have fought harder, should have fought tooth and nail to avoid that situation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hindsight is 2020. I'm not Owen. I wasn't in those meetings or discussions, but I honestly think that it was beneath him to do with everything that he had accomplished up until that point, and there was no reason for it. And in that regard, we're gonna go on because I'm more I'm talking about it, the more upset I'm getting because I think it was a bunch of nonsense, to be honest.
I guess that shows the level of Vince Russo's creativity. I don't know, that he couldn't come up with something for a great talent like Owen Hart any better than to try and use him as the blue blazer 10 years after he did it in the late 80s when he broke into WWF.
We're gonna have a show one day. It won't be next week. We're gonna have a whole Vince Russo show.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, I'm actually interested in that. But, Oscar, we are running out of time. I'm getting the cue from Jackie the Joke Man in the booth. Any final thoughts on this week's show? What's going on with you? Anything we can look forward to in coming weeks? What do we got?
Well, I mean, we're going to talk about
Well, you're giving it a lot of thought, apparently.
Yeah, no, sometimes I get these little brain farts.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is it the end of who just wrestled the head of the table?
Oh, Daniel Bryan.
I'm sorry. See, I old age. Is it Daniel Bryan's? Is this the end of his career? I mean, is it really?
I think it's just part of.
Yeah, I think it's part of too. But I mean,
I'm not sure exactly when his contract is up, but I would bet more than the $20 that we bet on Adnan Virk that we'll see Daniel Bryan again in a WWE ring soon. Sometimes they play up these stipulations longer than they do others. If you remember, who was it? Charlotte Flair was just fined and suspended $100,000 over her attacking a referee, and she was back within the next week. So you never know with the WWE stipulation.
That really lasted.
That's one thing that really, I think, hurts them when it comes to their credibility with the fans is when they don't live up to the stipulations. If you lie to the fans and you screw them over on the stipulation and you don't follow through, why are you going to believe the next one?
Right. So, I'm imagining Daniel Bryan will be right back, even though he walked out. Didn't he retire before, for real, forever?
He did, yeah. I mean, due to concussion problems, he was out of WWE from, what was it? It would have been 2017 he officially retired. I'm trying to... What's that now?
There must have been some pretty good Advil if they straightened out a concussion.
No, I'm sorry. It was way before that. I think it was 2015 because he came back as the SmackDown general manager in 2016. They were having some issues over the contract length because they basically wanted to almost freeze it forever so he couldn't go to another wrestling company. But that's a different story for a different show. I look forward to us being back next week. Same bad time, same bad station, 11 p.m., right when Raw goes off the air. Get ready for the Monday Night Mission. Oscar, any final thoughts real quick? 10 seconds.
Yeah, just want to say, I appreciate the God fans listening into this show. Let's keep our eye on wrestling. Let's keep our eye on the ball. And let's advocate for companies doing more for wrestlers when it comes down to their psychological and physical health. Let's all think about that. Let's all advocate for it and make that happen. Till next week, thank you.
All right, wrestling fans, you heard it from the man himself. Until we speak again, throw your hands in the air, wave them like you just don't care. You and yours be well. Good night. The World Wrestling Federation was live at the Allen County Coliseum in Fort Wayne, Indiana, Saturday, May the 3rd, 1997. In the opening contest, Bob Hawley beat Leif Cassidy. The New Blackjacks with the win over Doug Furness and Phil LaFawn. Rockabilly defeated Phineas Godwin. Mankind victorious over Jesse James. The Legion of Doom beat Crush and Savio Vega. Stone Cold Steve Austin with the win over Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Steve Austin and Ahmed Johnson defeated WWF Tag Team Champions Owen Hart and British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith in a non-title match. And in the main event, WWF World Champion The Undertaker retained the title over Vader. If you were in Fort Wayne live, share your memories in the comment section below. Use the link in the description box to keep Wrestling Legends working in our eBay store and on our world-renowned Patreon streaming service so we can bring you more interactive superstar shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. Check it out. Boston Wrestling Sports in the MWF explodes into a new year with professional wrestling content galore and need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after our Monday Night Raw review, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after NXT and AEW, join rotating legends on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's no-holds-barred sex, drugs, and rock and roll journey on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday night after SmackDown, don't miss John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, history videos, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view, watch-alongs, and more. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, get early ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times. Join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.